Ready, hot!
Coach, how hard was the decision to leave Michigan and come here? I mean, you got two pretty preeminent programs you're deciding between.
It was tough, but it was the right situation and opportunity for me and my family. So but we're excited we're here, and but yeah, it was tough.
So far, had some time to look at what you got coming back. What do you like about the guys you got coming back on the defensive line?
Definitely good-looking kids, so I'm excited to work with them and we'll move some things around a little bit, but like what I have to work with, and look forward to get started in spring ball on Saturday. So.
Are you going to coach the whole defensive line?
I am.
You have, three guys returning on scholarship, but none of those guys have a lot of experience. How do you kind of cope with that throughout the spring?
It's the same thing when we got to Ann Arbor. Was the same thing, and it's going to be the expectation for the position. So the guys are going to have to step up to the plate, and that's why they call you coach. So we got to get them to play at a high level. So.
Do you look at maybe moving some guys in there to kind of give you some bodies for?
Yeah.
I know you like to go 2 practices or 2 different units in practice.
Yeah, we'll move some guys around, and we'll make it work. We'll have guys, and you need a 2 deep, and we have that, and it should be a good spring.
Are you anticipating a 3-man front?
No, and again, that's something you need to talk with Coach Stoops about and Mike.
You look at the guys you do have. I mean, Jordan Phillips, Jordan Wade, guys I know that were talked about last bowl season as being talented guys. What do you see in those guys?
Just
on film?
I think they all have upside. I think we just got to keep working, and they're young, and I believe in technique and fundamentals, and that's what I'm gonna bring to the table, and we're gonna coach them up. So again, I've only been around them for really 1 or 2 workout sessions, and so I've got to see them move around a little bit. Haven't got to see them do much football. Seen a little film on them, but I'm excited to work with each and every one of them.
Someone mentioned you got 3 scholarship defensive tackles. Do you have any candidates in mind of guys you might try to work inside so you have the bodies to run 2-man units?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've discussed, but it's not something, we'd like to put out there yet.
How did those first 2 workouts did you feel went?
Good. The kids worked hard, and like I said, I'm excited about working with them. And, they've all been pretty good. I've met with all the kids, all the DNs, all the D tackles, and like I said, look forward to working with each and every one of them.
I know when Bill came in here, it sounded like he was kind of living out of a suitcase. Has it been a little bit like that for you?
It's okay. You make it work. This is a third transition for me where I'm kind of in a hotel right now, but it'll all work out, and hopefully I get my family here sooner than later. So excited about that. My wife's here today.
Has it been kind of a whirlwind just getting in with the coaches and looking at tape? I know you've been doing a lot of recruiting too.
Yeah,
since you got hired.
You just getting to know my players, getting to know the incoming freshmen, getting to know the recruits, and again, when you've been at a place for a while, you've recruited kids for 2 years, and you've had relationships, and when you leave one school and go to the other, you really can't recruit those same kids, and we're in different recruiting bases. So I'm still catching up to where everybody's at here. So it's a work in progress, but it'll come. So.
I mean, people talk about defensive tackles and how hard they are to find, but you've got connections from being in different parts of the country. You feel that could help you because it just seems like you can't just rely on Texas or Oklahoma to find those kids as hard as they are to find.
Well, it's about building relationships. So I don't care where you're at, if you're in Texas or Florida or Michigan or wherever. If you have good relationships and people know that you're going to take care of their kids when they get on campus, then you're going to have people willing to help you out with kids. And so I think that's about building relationships in this area and in the Texas area and the state of Oklahoma and in the surrounding states.
There's no question SEC has been dominant because of the defensive linemen they've been pumping out there. How do you get those caliber players to come to Oklahoma?
About building relationships. Those kids are close to home. Most of those kids are in the South, and they want to stay close to home, and we're not too far away, so it's about getting in those schools and building relationships in your recruiting areas, getting the kids on campus more than once, and that's just something we got to continue to build on, is getting them on campus, showing them what we have to offer, this great place, and the tradition and the history of the defensive linemen we've had come through here. is unreal. So we got to show them those things. And heck, when your numbers are so low, kids' playing time is going to be early, which is always a huge selling point.
You can believe that you can go get those kids in the South and bring them to Oklahoma.
Well, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody's different, and you got to get a feel for the kid, and you'll know right away if the kid's really interested. If he's not, and if he is, you got to get him on campus sooner than later. And so I'd like to think that we have a shot at some kids, but it's all, every kid's different. Every situation's different.
Big 12's got some unique offenses. How do you kind of sell going against that to defensive linemen kind of guys?
One thing kids like to hear is getting after the quarterback. They throw the ball around a little bit in this league, and they're also running the ball well. So, you got to have guys that can do both, and you got to have guys that are real good at the run. You got to have some guys that come in on third down and get after the quarterback. So, just selling to them the opportunity to play early and the opportunity to play against some high-powered offenses is a good selling point.
You talk about selling this place to recruits. It sounds like you and Mike were kind of in Las Vegas at a coaching thing together, or was that kind of what's?
No, that's not true.
Was okay, but can you talk about kind of being approached and how Bob Stoops and his staff sold you on coming here?
Just the great tradition that they have, and the history with the defensive linemen and those things, and that was kind of it, and the family atmosphere around here, and that's important to me.
What was it, a slam dunk, or did you have to give it a decent amount of consideration considering what your situation up there?
Like I said, I'm here now. All I want to talk about is being here. So that's being at Michigan was a great experience, and working with Brady and Greg and was unbelievable. I'm just excited about being here and working with Bob and Mike and learning some new things and being in different parts of the country. So
it appeared to us your recruiting, how quickly you started recruiting after you took the job was probably one of the quickest turnarounds we've seen. How long before you took the job were you recruiting for Oklahoma?
Well, I actually couldn't recruit for Oklahoma until I signed a contract. But the one thing that happened is I was involved with so many kids that kids reached out to me and said, "Coach, you're leaving. What's going on?" So I said, "Hey, call me. I'll explain it to you. And if when I get to Oklahoma, if things are right, we'll continue the relationship." Like I said, it's about building relationships. So when you have good relationships with kids, that tends to happen. And they all reached out to me. I want to say, a good 15 to 20 kids reached out to me and said, "Well, why?" And so we talked and we had those conversations.
I heard you talk a little bit about how Bob had almost been your coach in college if things would have happened a certain way. But how much of that Iowa connection, Bob kind of being that Iowa guy, is he a little bit kind of up on a pedestal for you Iowa guys?
We all, at the end of the day, bleed black and gold, and we come from the same background. At Iowa, we're underdogs, and so we're always the guys. And when you walk into the stadium, we're picked to lose. So I think, kind of having that chip on your shoulder, we all come from the same background. So, yeah, it was neat, but that wasn't what sold me on coming to OU.
When you're evaluating, recruits, what's one thing you really look for?
For defensive linemen, you got to have great foot quickness. Obviously, you like size, but size is not always the tell-all. If a kid can play the game, and he's long enough and tall enough, and he's very athletic. That's one thing with the offense that we're playing now is the athleticism of the defensive linemen have to be pretty good. So you can't take too many 330-pound defensive tackles in this league because you're not seeing the two back. You're seeing 10 personnel and people spreading it out and getting people in space. And so you need guys that can run. And so definitely foot speed is definitely one thing I first look at.
Is versatility important as well?
It is, but again, you got some guys that may play on first and second down. They're going to have to run their butt off the field so that pass rusher can get on third down. I mean, so it varies. It's nice if you have a guy that can do multiple.
When you come into a new place and the after signing day and the recruits had relationships with the prior coaches, are those difficult calls to make or difficult relationships to build?
All I can do is get on the phone and start building a relationship with them because they're coming to OU, and that's what you got to do. You got to start building a relationship from scratch, and everything's been good so far.
Everything good to go with Quincy Russell, the JUCO guy coming in, I guess, in the summer?
I can't speak on that. So
The sense is you and Jay and Bill all will bring sort of maybe I don't know if that's the right term, maybe a new energy to the program here. Just for your purposes, what do you think you do along those lines that will really help?
You know, for one, I was lucky to have a great teacher in Ron Aiken, who's now with Oregon. But I'm a teacher first. I'm a high energy guy. You know, I'm not into dog cussing kids. If you do something right, I'm a rah. If you do something wrong, I'm gonna teach you how to do it better. So I think that alone is that's my style, and that's who I am, and that's what you guys will see on the football field. So.
Are the guys already in the program receptive to that? So
Absolutely.
far?
It's been really good the couple times I've met with them, and you know, I think they feel my energy, and I'm excited about being here, and I think they see that, and maybe some of them are like, this is a fresh start for me. You know, I've got a new guy evaluating me, and so at the end of the day, you know, the best player is going to play.
How did your time in Michigan impact your coaching style, would you say?
It was unbelievable. Like I said, I had a great experience working for Brady and Greg and learning a lot about the game, and so it was unbelievable time, and you know, I'll miss it. So.
Do you think your age helps maybe you connect with some of the players here, being a younger guy?
It does, but at the end of the day, like I said, whether I'm 33 or if I'm 50, if I can, you know, communicate with my kids and my kids know that I care about them, they're going to do anything for me, and I'm a firm believer in that. You know, building good relationships with your kids, that's what it's about, because now they know when you're pushing them that you know that you're not out to get them, you're out to help them. So.